Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another one of those remakes from videos that I made over 4 years ago of the best RPGs on each system. Now I'm remaking the Nintendo DS one that was highly controversial, and guess what? Things have drastically changed with this one. So there are some major changes in this video in comparison to that other one from 4 years ago. And for this video I am only including, as usual, North American releases. No ports or remakes of any kind, because I will later on make a video of exclusive for ports and remakes for the Nintendo DS. But for now, guys, only exclusive for the Nintendo DS. And yes, I know some of the games that you're about to see were also remade or ported to other consoles, but the first time they were released, they were exclusively for the Nintendo DS. So let's begin! Number 10. Blue Dragon Awakened Shadow. This game might be considered as a hidden gem because most gamers stayed only with the first Blue Dragon for the Xbox 360, made by Hironobu Sakaguchi and the company he created after leaving Square Enix, called Mist Walker. So most people don't know Blue Dragon is actually a trilogy, with its 2 sequels released for the Nintendo DS. Blue Dragon Plus is a real-time strategy RPG and not that good in my opinion, but the third and final title was an action RPG called Awakened Dragon, first game in which you could choose an avatar, but final title in the trilogy, so the series concluded after this with no plans to ever make something more. Why did they release these 2 sequels for a portable console from an anime company to Microsoft is something I'll never understand. And why did they change from turn-based RPG to real-time strategy and then action? Maybe they wanted to try everything with this series. In any case, if you have time to check out Awakened Shadow as a fan of Blue Dragon and action RPGs, then do so, since it's actually really fun. Number 9. Luminous Ark. Since the Nintendo DS was a great system for playing strategy RPGs, many of their kind were released for it. Luminous Ark was one of them, and it spawned an entire series due to how successful it had been in Japan. We only got the first 2, and well, the second one is also good, but not as great as the first one in my opinion. It's cheesy, characters are stereotypes, stories cliché, yeah, but all this in a charismatic way. You see, this game has a lot of charm and a lot of interesting mechanics that are notoriously influenced by classics such as Final Fantasy Tactics or even Disgaea. It's far from being hard, that's for sure, but it's not easy either, so it compels a reasonable challenge, and I would say it's a perfect introduction for gamers to strategy RPGs. It's fun, it's quirky, and it's definitely one of the best exclusive RPGs for the system, so check it out! And now, more strategy titles to come. Number 8. Valkyrie Profile, Covenant of the Plume. This game. This damn game. Yeah, my never-ending love-hate relationship with this nightmare of an RPG. The third and final title in the all-time classic and beloved Valkyrie Profile series to be released outside Japan. And a strategy one at that. And a brutally difficult title, one of the hardest RPGs of all time in my opinion. Well, years ago I used to despise this game because it was not only quite different from the previous masterpieces I have been playing and love, but also because it was highly unfair with difficulty spikes arousing at every corner and the unchanging rule of having to sacrifice your own allies to at least get a decent chance of beating it. The game has a tremendously good story and a cast of characters that you'll get very fond of, unwilling to comply with the aforementioned mechanic. So yeah, I hated this game. But there I was, playing it over and over again, trying its many different routes, just to see which one was more cool and, well, easier to finish. Years have passed and I've seen my own evolution with this game featuring often in my videos, and I gotta admit, I love it now. Guess there's some particular cases when love is indeed born from hatred. Number 7. Rondo of Swords. Here's yet another similar case, but not as controversial as the previous one. You see, I loved this game from the moment I started playing it, but ever since the first mission began, I got my ass handed to me! This is what I consider the absolute hardest JRPG I've ever played in my life, with a North American release of course. I mean, I don't want to get into all those Japan-only horrendously difficult, brutally nightmarish. Let's go back to this game. It's a tactical RPG with complex mechanics that are really hard to get into, since they involve constant buffing between your characters and often an impeccable strategy from your behalf to move them within these lines, always with tons of penalties involved. But the game's so addictive that you will find yourself trying over and over again, suffering through its hardships just to learn how to properly play it. The one major flaw that makes this game astonishingly hard is that there are no free battles at all, so therefore, no grinding. If one or two of your characters are underleveled, you're screwed. They will be completely useless probably forever. So watch out for Rondo of Swords, a nightmare of a game, but one of the best exclusives for the system. Number 6. Super Robo Tyson OG Saga, Endless Frontier. I've also talked about this game a couple of times before in my channel. Every time I feel like I must tell the story behind it since many people don't know it. Yes, it belongs to the extensive and probably underrated series of Super Robo Tyson, which are often strategy RPGs that are crossovers from their own universes. Endless Frontier is no exception. It also involved characters from other games developed by the same company, overly famous and well-respected Monolith Soft, with the help of Van Presto, who also made the popular Project Cross Zone for the 3DS. But before those two games, and even before this, there was Namco vs Capcom, a Japan exclusive for the PS2, great RPG, which planted the basis for Endless Frontier and both Project Cross Zone games. Now this game is, as you've been seeing, a turn-based RPG with battles in 2D and invited characters like the protagonists from Namco vs Capcom, and yeah, you're seeing it right now, Cosmos from Xenosaga. It's totally a hidden gem, and one game that needs more mainstream attention since it's so good. Try it out if you have the chance. Number 5. Shin Megami Tensei, Strange Journey. There just can't be a best-of list out there without a Shin Megami Tensei title, I believe. Yeah, too bad I didn't include any of them in the first video 4 years ago. Anyway, Strange Journey, yet another hard and frustrating RPG, takes the 5th place of my list. It's a dungeon crawler in first person with a touch of science fiction and, as usual of any SMT title, demons involved. It's a very difficult game, mostly due to the length of the dungeons and how they can easily become never-ending labyrinths if you don't have the patience for them. Thankfully, it has a story and a cast of characters that are adult and not teens saving the world, truly solid plot, and several addictive mechanics like the demon summoning and recruiting systems. You know, I think the remake for the 3DS is way better, but if you don't own one, then I suggest you don't miss this one out. Especially if you're a fan of the franchise. But you gotta be also a fan of long dungeon crawlers. Number 4. Suikoden Tear Cries. As a huge fan of Suikoden, I couldn't leave this spin-off out of the list or far from the first places on it. I knew before playing this that it would be a side story different from all the other Suikoden great classics from the main saga, also having in mind that the original creator Murayama hadn't been involved. With that mindset, I was ready to enter the Tier Christ universe with one of the most annoying protagonists ever, with the kind that little by little grow on you, and a nice attempt to emulate the original Suikoden titles. Battles are turn-based with only 4 characters by your side, and there's also the 108 Stars of Destiny system, letting you recruit them all to get the good ending. A story that's still good enough, sung with political conflict and traditional customs between reigns and kingdoms. It might be a spin-off, but it's still great nonetheless, and truly one of the best in the Nintendo DS. Number 3. Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor 2. Back again with strategy RPGs, this time with another infamous title for being absolutely hard. This game was remade for the 3DS some years later, and I highly suggest playing that version because it lets you choose normal difficulty instead of the masterful brutality this original version is known for. Leaving that aside, it's one of the most addicting games and interesting Shin Megami Tensei titles ever made, with sure some lame trope anime characters among the main cast, but some others truly wonderful to see in development. However, the core of this game is its gameplay mechanics. Made by the same people who created the Growlancer games, it only shows how excellent the tactical system works, fusing with the classic Megami Tensei demon summoning program. It's made to exploit the skill function to create demons with powerful attacks and make your main characters masters of disaster. So exploiting this system is the only way to truly enjoy Devil Survivor 2 for the Nintendo DS. And so since this one is on the 3rd place, I guess it's obvious which one's on the 2nd. Yup, Devil Survivor. I love both games, but I always say there's a huge gap between this one and the second one. Neither being connected whatsoever, by the way, they're both standalone titles. So here we have an entire city trapped, unable to move out, precisely because of demons! The gameplay mechanics are virtually the exact same as the previous title on this list, but here the challenge is way higher than any of that. Again, I recommend that remake for the 3DS just to be safer. But if you're in for one of the hardest experiences you'll ever live, then be my guest and play this version. It was the first one I played as well, so I'll be here when you want to share and ease your suffering. Story-wise, Devil Survivor is better than the second one, still with some annoying tropes here and there, but not as much as in the other, leading to a more adult cast of supporting characters and a plot with higher psychological and also philosophical situations. Music is excellent as well, so this is a game that did everything right, but that in difficulty it went overboard. Still, be it this version or its remake, I strongly recommend it. Number 1. Radiant Historia. Yeah, you probably saw this coming. Never will I tire of recommending Radiant Historia, the best RPG on the system. An excellent adventure that revolves around time and space, with a protagonist being able to go back to past events and change them to avoid future conflicts and tragedies. It also has an excellent cast of characters, all very well developed, intruding on cliches to break them apart. The soundtrack is as amazing as its battle system, with combat fought in 2D within a turn-based process that involves strategy to a certain degree. I can't stress out enough how memorable this experience turned out to be when I first played it and beat it many years ago. It was also remade for the 3DS, called Perfect Chronology, including some changes between some characters, now including voice acting. I have yet to play that version, so for now I'm only going to praise, once again, this excellent masterpiece, and obviously suggest you to play it if you haven't. So that's it guys, thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to share your opinion, and most importantly, your own top 10. What are the 10 best JRPGs for the system, in your opinion? But try to narrow it down to exclusives, and ports and remakes like Chrono Trigger, or Fire Emblem, or the Dragon Quest games. Let us all wait for that other video that I'm about to make, I don't know, in a couple of months maybe, or perhaps next year. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. See you next time!